Hi, my name is Sarah, and my thesis is about changing the cycle. To understand what this cycle is, we need to first understand what is period poverty. Sanitary pads, a universally needed product. Close to 12 million women in the US aged between 12 to 52 live below the poverty line, and most of them do not have access to sanitary pads. Due to these lack of resources, women succumb to using rags that can cause infections and could also be life-threatening. Another issue is the sustainable disposal of these pads and what they're made of. Lastly, but the most importantly, is about the stigma that exists around menstrual health and how it can impact young women. In India, the cultural taboo related to menstruation exists, and periods cannot be spoken about freely. But this only exists in rural India. There is a cultural divide between the urban women and the rural women of India. Now let's meet the man who invented the low-cost, sustainable sanitary pad machine. Meet Murugandhanam, also known as the menstrual man. Once he noticed his wife going to the toilet with an old cloth, he decided to build a pad making machine. But how does one user test the pad in a village where it's frowned upon to talk about periods, especially with a man? So he tried it. Yes, and he became the first man to wear a pad and walk freely, but I guess he was rather uncomfortable. He further went on to spread awareness amongst villages and finally perfected the low cost sanitary manufacturing machine. And soon after, he became the Time magazine's 100 most influential people. Now, let me introduce you to my site. My site has this historic industrial fabric and was known for manufacturing back in the day. Welcome to Greenpoint. Greenpoint could also benefit from the offset of gentrification and inviting other neighborhoods into Greenpoint through my program. Now, looking closely within Greenpoint, the highlighted is my site where I'm proposing a safe space that breaks the stigma around menstrual health along with celebrating the historic industrial fabric of the neighborhood. The building is 85,000 square feet tucked between these three streets. The roof is occupied by Gotham Greens. The surrounding lots are either vacant or low rise, which allows enough daylight into the building. And the pedestrian perspective view helps me understand the street conditions in depth. The street is very inviting and does not have a lot of traffic. There's enough room for good amount of pedestrian traffic to invite people in from other neighborhoods. This is an overlay of the original building image. The building is currently partially in use and still has the industrial skin and bones. It used to be a bowling alley back in the day. There are existing wood and metal shops that take up majority of the building units. The roof has existing greenhouses and there's enough vacant space for potential use. The idea is to manufacture machines for the sanitary pads in the wood and metal shops, grow organic cotton in the greenhouses, and use the vacant space for sanitary pad manufacturing along with educational spaces and co-working spaces. The section allows you to see that the building is 3 stories high. In order to understand the program better, we must understand the manufacturing process as it is not a heavy duty process. It is a low maintenance manufacturing process, which could be done within the building. Step one is sorting and shredding, where women essentially sit on the floor and sort and shred the cotton pulp. Step two includes weighing of the cotton and finally grinding and mixing of the pulp. That helps you obtain the raw material. Step three is the pneumatic pressing, pad shaper, and sterilizing. Step four is packaging. So, my thesis is about transforming the stigma that exists around menstrual health, which is mostly due to cultural taboos, lack of education, and period poverty. Along with that, there is a global sanitation and lack of sustainable options. So I'm proposing a safe space, which is inspired by this model that already exists in India to manufacture low cost sanitary napkins. And it combines manufacturing, educational spaces, which will provide sex ed for young boys and girls, and a co working space, which complements the employment generated through manufacturing. Thank you.